design of the general maps is really awesome to me, because you look at like Dota and you look at League, and those are pretty much the two main ones that I'm going to reference. Obviously, you have others. You have Dawngate, you have Strife, you have Heroes, or not Heroes, Han. You have, what's the other one that I just stopped playing? Infinite Crisis. So you have all those. Like those exist, and they're all well and good. But for these examples, I'm gonna use the big guys because big guys. So in League and Dota, you have pretty much standard stuff like, okay, yeah, farm your gold, get your items, do your thing. If you get kills, you get more gold, so you can get more items, you can get stronger. Dota's a little bit more punishing in that regard because you die, you lose gold. So if you don't use your shop, you don't buy something in your stash, you're kind of screwed for a little bit. But I mean, risk versus reward, right? So farm up and hold your gold tight, or die and be put even further behind. So that's that. In Heroes though, the game isn't as focused on farming, and trying to make like crazy big plays. I mean, plays are obviously always important, but it doesn't feel like it so far that the effect of making like a massive play is like just game crushing. Obviously, it does give you a really good position, but I haven't seen any games thus far where teams couldn't come back provided they had a good synergy. So that's something that I really think is neat. But the biggest obvious to me glaring difference, aside from the fact that there's no items and the experience is global, which I've already discussed, and those are both awesome, is the objective. Every map in this game has some kind of like intense objective with side parts to it, and it's the side parts that really matter. I mean, obviously the main objective is super important. You obviously want to get it, but the methods of which you get it seem to be far more important to me, at least right now, than the actual thing itself. Because the way that it works, in MOBAs, you have positioning, and that's pretty much your end all be all. If you're out of position, good lord save you. If you're in position, you can make a lot of really good plays and you can push your team forward. And when you have objectives kind of shift that position, or shift the priority rather of the position. Where you have in lane time in like League and Dota, you have times where you're like, okay, we're in farm phase right now. We'll kind of play it slow. We'll try to harass whenever we can. We'll try to deny whatever we can, and we'll wait for our junglers, stuff like that. But in Heroes, it's like, okay, if we take the risk of not going, like say you're on Blackheart, like if we take the risk of not going to get that chest that's down, then we're running the risk of putting ourselves behind and potentially subjecting ourselves to damage that we could have prevented. And at the same time, though, on that same map, if you're the one that goes and gets that chest, now you're a target because you have your doubloons if you haven't brought them back. So it's like, okay, how do we do this? Like, it's a lot of really intense critical thinking as these games go on, and I'm really excited to see it once it gets to the high level play, because having all these little things in all the maps are like super important to me. The debuffs or the pickups on Cursed Hollow, so that you get your enemy team debuff like crazy. Like that's huge. Like those three, or picking up three of those, is like amazingly important to stop and to kind of it basically paces the game. It says, okay, like instead of just having Dragon or Baron or Nasher, like you now have a bunch of these little objectives that say, okay, you have to do stuff. You need to be moving, and it's kind of, if for those of you who play League, it's kind of a cross in some ways between Dominion and Summoner's Rift, where you have objectives that you constantly need to be doing, but at the same time, if you're not paying attention to the actual game, you're gonna fall behind, and it's awesome. I love it. I absolutely love it. And I'm gonna focus on individual maps here real quick. I don't know, I haven't even been reading chat. I don't know if people have. Yes. Okay. So the where was I? Right, Blackheart's Bay. Let's start there. So again, chess super important. And this is the first of the this is the first of the maps where I see mercenary camps being really important, because not only do they give you presence on the map, they also give you objective bonus. So they give you the gold, they give you the doubloons, and you're able to do stuff with them. So on other maps, you can just be like, okay, I'll go get this camp. I'll get the extra experience. I'll get the extra damage from recruiting the mercenary camp, and then they'll move on, and you'll do your thing. Whereas here, it's a little bit more intense. It's okay. We need to be doing a lot of stuff. You're basically microing your entire team, and Trickster, yes, you're in the right place. I'm trying to explain as much as I can. I'm not doing like a full overview of the game. I'm just kind of zoning in on the maps right now. So you're gonna have to look other places if you're looking for everything. But I'll try to do as best I can for right now. So again, the mercenary camps on Blackheart's Bay, important, very very important. Not just for objective tower play, but for the entire game. It is certainly something that's I'm looking at as a buffed perspective compared against, say, Dragonshire, which, yes, you get to have your mercenaries attack an enemy camp. You get a little bit more experience, and you get the map presence, but at the same time, not as important as Blackheart's Bay. So that's a thing. And again, as I said, chests important. They spawn. You want to go get them because you want to get as much damage on. You want to put as much pressure on the enemy team as you can. And in order to put pressure on them, obviously you want to be pushing into the base. You want to be attacking them. But at the same time, if you have the ability to also supplement your default pressure with an additional ghost ship, that's awesome. Like, why wouldn't you want to do that? So that's something that's like, okay, I'm in lane. All right, this objective spawns. I'm gonna go try to get it. And at the same time, you're like, I'm in lane. All right, mercenary camps spawn. Let's go try to pull that. And it's all these little things that kind of work up to a greater game that's really important to me. Like, for me, games that have intense amount of counterplay are what I look for. And this game seems to be, although people like to say it's kind of simple, it's, to me, it's not even close to simple. There's no items. Yes, the experience is global. That brings its own level of counterplay. But like mercenary camps and picking them up, getting the free experience, getting the objectives, those are all decisions that you have to make going forward. And then your enemy has to make a decision saying, okay, are we going to take this time to let them have that? And are we going to push through and try to put some damage on their towers, try to put some pressure on their base? Or are we going to go say, well, let's go take the risk and let's fight them. Let's say they're going to this chest. Let's go ahead and find a way to get in and lock them down and just break them apart. If we have, say people come down from the sides and they're like, all right, we're just gonna gank them. We're gonna get the experience, and now we have we have a big gap between us now that we can say, all right, we're going to get the chest, we're going to move forward to keep pushing, and we'll have at least a level on them by the time they get back. So that's a thing. I want to see different game types. Game types would be cool. It's kind of hard to do things like capture the flag in MOBAs, because some characters are just really unbalanced for that. So that's that. Deathmatch, it's been tried. It's okay. I've talked about this before. What I would like to see is a deathmatch, like not a Slayer deathmatch, but like whenever you die, you get a new character, like DM from Dota from back in the day, where like you die and then the game type was typically DMAR, which is deathmatch all random, and basically if you died, you got spawned as another character, and that was really really cool. So if we could bring that in, I'd be a fan. Back to the point at hand. For anybody that's joining us recently, I know this list over here isn't going to make any sense to you. Sorry. Basically it's just the way that I was talking about tournaments earlier on. Probably should remove it, but I like using it as a reference. So, sorry. Let's Cursed Hollow is probably the only map thus far that I don't have like an extensive look at. I haven't really sat down and like really gone at it. I think it's a good map. The buff is a little bit overpowered in my opinion. It might get brought down. I don't know what's gonna happen with it, but obviously that's one of the really good examples of, okay, objectives are really important. Like, we're going to get crushed if we don't get this objective. We need to do something about that. So to me, Curse Hollow is pretty much the biggest of the objective play in all the games, at least, or all the maps currently. I don't really know what else there is to say about that. I mean, you have you have a very strong objective sitting in your face, and if you don't do something about it, you're gonna get hurt. So I'm gonna move on from that. Haunted Mines. Haunted Mines is really cool. I think it's one of the more original ideas that Blizzard kind of took. The way that you can go underground and you farm your skulls and you make your golem be like super massive. That's cool to me. I like the way that that's done. The way that you can kind of like, it's another decision making thing. It's like, okay, we know that we have to send someone down to at least do something for our golem, but how much do we actually want to send down? Do we want to send down almost a full team? Do we want to send down a couple of people to get a little bit of the job done and just kind of rush through? Or what do we want to do? So that's that. And Dragonshire, I've already talked about in length. The two shrines, super awesome. Like, oh my god, that's such a cool idea. Having to have both of them on to unlock the statue and still maintain them while you're capping the statue, and being able to get interrupted while you are capturing the statue, I think is just by auto attacking, not by like stun or anything. That's really cool to me. The amount of counterplay on that map is huge. It's like just ridiculous. And it's constant fast gameplay with a lot of really intense decision making. So that map I can definitely see as being pretty much 100% in every single rotation. I see Blackheart being probably a 50-50. I see the other two being kind of like a 25% chance to see play constantly. I think Dragonshire is going to be the way that a lot of people want to go, because it's such a brawl map. Like, you just fight constantly. What else did I want to talk about today? Oh, right. So in the current iteration of the game, it's set up to be a 5v5 game, which I like. I think it's a really good idea. But as a tournament organizer, I'm always looking to push the envelope to see what kind of things can be done. So what I recently got to thinking about was like, okay, how good would this game be if we were to run 1v1 tournaments, 2v2, 3v3, 4v4, 5v5, and trying to think about how things go, like how things can work together if it would be too strong to throw a 4v4 together, if it would be too much to throw a 3v3, or if you were to limit the game to say like an all random mode in mid or stuff like that. That's something that I've been thinking about. Yes, supposedly Heroes will have a map editor. I know that this is going to come to you in a minute, so sorry about the delay. But yes, there will be custom maps, which hopefully we get some really good ones. I think we will. There's a lot of really good map makers out there. I know I'll try my hand at it, but I probably not going to be good. I will certainly help consult on them if anybody ever needs any help. But that's that. Yeah, I think I would like to see just general 1v1 events to see how people play the game, to see how play styles develop. And I basically plan to run all these events once the game hits beta and people have the ability to get in. That's definitely something that I want to do. So definitely keep a lookout for that. I think in general the game is going to stay 5v5. Obviously that'll be the mainstay because it's the way the game is designed. It's the best setup right now. But again, I want to push the boundaries. and I want to see how far the game can go.